So it's been a really interesting week for me. And what I find is that life events have this amazing effect on us. It allows us to look at the path that we're on, to take stock, and then to adjust whatever's necessary. And as you know, this week it's been bronchitis for me. And I was like, are you kidding me? I don't have time for bronchitis. You know, I'm busy. I'm in the mode of like creating and visioning, and they want me to rest? Are they insane? I can't be doing this. And then I slept because, you know, I realized I was on fumes. I've been running on fumes for quite a little while there. And I woke up, and upon awakening, I had a new level of understanding. Before that, I was really cursing my body for not like working with me, working against me. And upon awakening, I was like, oh, my body and soul are really amazing. They know the truth. They know what is best for me. And I cannot wait for someone else out there to take care of me. I can't wait for someone to go, oh, honey, you're looking a little peaked. Maybe you need some R&R. No, that is not someone else's job. It's my job. So having this bronchitis, I have to tell you, is one of the nicest things that has happened to me lately. It really is. But how often do we have those resentful feelings when we aren't getting cared by others? We'll have those thoughts of, well, after all I've done, can't they just be a little kind, maybe a little patient, a little understanding? And all those thoughts really come from the same place. And that place is us not wanting to care for ourselves and expecting someone else to do it. We cannot abdicate. We cannot abdicate taking care of ourselves. And that is why I'm always pushing about claiming our truth. Because if we realized how wonderful and special we are, we would do amazing self-care work, wouldn't we? So here I am, your new minister, all of 3 whole months. Yeah, there it is. Thank you. And I came in really very clear on who and what I am. Who and what I am. And then the business of church ministry took over. And before long, I realized I'm overextended. What a surprise. I am grappling with residual trauma that's within this congregation. Did you hear that? Okay. I'm leading some folks who really don't want to go anywhere. And I'm working really hard to prove to you that you can trust me, because I walk with authenticity and integrity. And then bronchitis hits. I'm sorry, this is just popping a little bit, so I'm going to move it out and see if that makes any difference. And it gives me a chance to really clarify and reclaim the truth of what I am. Meaning the first thing is, I don't need to prove my worth. I don't need to prove my worth because I am, period. Now, I wouldn't really put anything else on that, but since I'm here doing a talk, I figure I'll clarify a little bit. I am the only begotten one who is coming to a realization of my relationship with allness, with God. I am. There is nothing to prove when I claim that as my truth. Second, being overextended, well, that's my choice, isn't it? It is my decision to be overextended because I am coming from a false belief that I have to prove my worth, and it's my job to make sure everyone at Unity of Lawrence wakes up to the truth of what they are and be successful. Ooh, well. Oh. Well, with that belief, no wonder I'm trying to do these superhuman efforts and trying to manage it all myself. No, that's not accurate, and no, that is not my truth. Because the reality is, this is our church. This is not my church. This is our church. This is the place that you have said feeds your soul. And if it does, then it requires and it needs your attention for it to thrive. And I'm not talking about the minister and the 20% of you that do all the volunteering, offer financial support, get burnt out because it's too much for the 20%, and they either leave the congregation or then withdraw from service completely. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but that seems to be a pattern that has been happening here, correct? I see the nods. Success demands that we get this. The state of our consciousness is the state of our community, of this church. The state of our own consciousness is what this looks like. So if we keep holding on to lack consciousness, you are not going to prosper, and this community is not going to thrive. The third thing I said was that this is a community that is grappling with residual trauma left over from previous ministries. How do I know this? I say this because I freely give spiritual counseling, and many of those sessions, the time is spent on talking about the Lawrence past, what happened in the past at Lawrence. I hold meetings in the attempt of getting us to function as one entity and to develop ministries that are cohesive, and often there are tirades about what happened with previous ministers or people or ministries. Now, I got to tell you, I am not saying that you cannot rant when you need to be clear what you're feeling and the story. But what I am saying, if the wounds are 3, 5, 10 years ago, then the question is, are you getting something out of holding on to that story? Do you find comfort in what happened in the past, the erroneous past? Does that feed you in some way that you need to continue to hold on to it? And then I say, well, you know what? Maybe we can do some more grief work with the community. And I often hear, oh no, Sherrie, Reverend Sherrie, we've done that already. We've done our grieving and our healing. Honestly, no, you haven't. You're not done. And why do I know this? Because I want you to think of this relationship that we have in the context of a marriage. The minister and a congregation are really in a marriage. They're in that kind of relationship. And when you are in a relationship with your spouse, you know a lot about your spouse, don't you? Or your partner. And so by hiring me, you have made a proposal to me, right? You've proposed to me, and here I am. And now I am sharing the bed with all the ghosts of your beloved. Ooh, that that doesn't work, and I gotta tell you, it's kind of creepy. A little creepy. Grief work does not happen with one workshop or one book study group. Grief work is a spiral process. It's a spiral process. So you follow the spiral, there's some forward motion, get some momentum, and then there'll be some regression, and then there'll be some momentum again. And then you come around that circle again and you think, well, wait, I've healed this already. I've healed this issue. But here it is, up to the surface once again. This revisit allows you to define yourself in a new way, have a new understanding in relationship to your loss. So it's a gift. It's not like, oh my God, I can't believe we're here and doing this again. Really about my mother yet again, you know? It's that spiral, it's that process. But mostly grieving is about the need to release something in the past that we wish we could hold on to right now or in the future. That's grieving. And so my question to you is, what are you afraid of if you let go of the past of Lawrence? What are you afraid of? Because this situation reminds me a little bit of when my first husband died. I came to the decision that my walls were going to be completely up and no one was ever going to get in and hurt me again. The only person that I could depend on was myself, and I didn't need anyone else. And I lived that way for quite a number of years. And it was very hard, and it was a lonely existence because I wouldn't let anyone in. So not only blocking what I perceived as possible hurt, but I was also blocking any kind of love, any kind of light from coming in. And if I had stayed in that place, then I wouldn't have been open to the experience that Graham has brought into my life, which is beyond anything that I could have imagined. I told him one time, if we ever break up, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for what this relationship has been so far, because it's more than I've ever expected. Coming to our sage, what does he have to say regarding this? No one can ruin your life. You are always responsible for the way you accept the things that happen to you. The incident is external. The reaction is always your own. And all that really counts is what is happening within you. So are you willing? Are you willing to release the past? Are you willing to forgive yourself? Are you willing to forgive others? Are you willing? The fourth thing I said is that I feel like I'm leading some folks who don't want to go anywhere. And sometimes it feels like I'm running ahead and I'm saying to you, look at all the stuff that we could be doing together. It would be really amazing. And I turn around and no one's really hanging out with me. I'm like, ah. And then I realize, well, of course not. Of course you're not behind me because you don't trust me. Because you don't trust me yet. It's impossible for me to lead if you're not able to trust your leader, your spiritual leader. So if you are waiting for me to somehow morph into one of the previous ministers, it's not going to happen. If you are waiting for me to become some, demagogue, that's not going to happen. If you're waiting for the shoe to drop because you've seen it and experienced it in the past, it's not going to happen. I am Sherrie, human, so I'll be making some mistakes, but able to say, ooh, that was not a good one. Divine, always coming from a place of love and consciousness and holding the knowing of the truth of what you are. But I know that I cannot continue to pay the price of what has happened in the past. Did you hear me? I cannot continue to pay the price of what has happened in the past. Take a deep breath, everybody. Release. One more. Deep breath. Release. And I want you to just close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to go within. And I want you to ask yourself this question. What is the worst thing that could happen if I trust Rev Sherrie? What is the worst thing that could happen if I trust Reverend Sherrie? Don't censor yourself. Just let it all come out. Let it all come out. No censoring. And at the count of 3, what I'm going to ask you to do all together is just shout out all those things that came in your mind. 1, 2, 3. Shout it. Okay. All right. Did you feel that energy a little bit? What did it feel like? Kind of wonky? A little angry. What else? Hesitant. It did not have any power, did it? It was kind of flat. A little fear-based. This is our collective unconsciousness, folks. This is Unity of Lawrence collective unconsciousness. This is where we are creating from. Do you hear me? This is where we are creating from. Because I don't care what words you say. What is it about? It's about those beliefs that you hold. That's what we are creating from. So here we are. We're at a crossroads. Are you willing to step into the truth of what you are and be amazing? Be the awesomeness that you are? Are you ready to let go? Let go of the past. Are you ready? Are you ready to forgive those who may have harmed you or this community? Because if you're holding on to hurt and pain, you cannot generate prosperity from that. It's not possible. But you can generate an abundant life if you are willing to use the act of forgiveness. The act of forgiveness to be whole again. So hear me, this is not about fixing Unity of Lawrence. This is not about fixing Unity of Lawrence. This is about becoming whole again. This month we have spent it talking about prosperity consciousness. And this talk continues that work because we're looking here at what is it going to take? What is necessary for us to have an abundant life? What is necessary for us to have an abundant life? Eric Butterworth writes this: we must have the stability and the perspective to deal with both success and failure in spiritual poise. Nothing is ever completely lost. There is always some gain, some growth. Failure is a vital part of achieving success. We have erroneously thought of success as getting there, while actually success is earning the right to be there. So here's my clarity. I am called to be here as your spiritual compass. That's clear. I'm called to be here as your spiritual compass. And I want to be here for a long time. And in order to do that, what I need to do is I need to put Spirit first. What's been happening is it's been kind of backwards. I've been shoehorning in the meditation, I've been shoehorning in the prayers when I have a free moment. I have to flip that back to where it used to be, which is, as your spiritual compass, I need time to be in the silence. I need time to meditate. I need time to pray. I need time to hold the knowing of what you are. That's what a spiritual leader does. And yes, this is also a business, but it can be so much more than that. I think it's time for us to put raising our consciousness and our divinity as the top priority of this community. We have some good business practices in place. It's humming. We need to spend time developing our spiritual side. So, in order to help me, we are in the process of hiring a part-time admin assistant. Polly has been really generous in doing a cost projection analysis for us that we can, have my salary and the admin salary carrying. There's a little concern, but we're holding that we can make this. The person will be here 15 hours a week at $10 an hour, and I'm hoping that we'll be starting next week. So that is going to help me tremendously. But I'm also going to need your help, because I am going to release the things that are not on my priority list. It's just, that's clear. So I may be asking you to step up. What I'm doing right now is I'm just giving you a mini state of the address, letting you know where we stand. I've told you I believe in transparency. That is my function, to be transparent and clear. So, as a community, if you have decided to make the choice to be a healthy congregant in this community, then there's some things that are coming in place to support you. One of the big ones is the Martha Creek weekend. Martha Creek, I look to her as a mentor, but she is really like high profile. Unity churches search for her, seek her out. She's got a 2-year waiting list. A 2-year waiting list. They pay her big bucks, they pay her flights, they pay her accommodations. She's treated like the goddess that she is. Gotta tell you. This woman is coming here June 11th and 12th on a love offering basis. Did you hear me? A love offering basis. So I am using that connection. She's coming here because of my connection to her. So I want you to show up. I want you to show up. I want you to be open to this shift, because if you're looking for tools on how to alter consciousness, if you're looking for a new wording and way of stepping into the world, this is it. This is it. The first workshop she's doing is Saturday the 11th, 1 to 4 p.m. She's going to be talking about how do we develop courageous patterns of relating, learning how to focus on strengths and cultivating options for the future, boosting the confidence in responding to life's challenges. Gain the skill and mastery of staying present during difficult times. That is not a strong suit of us Unity folks. Staying present during difficult times. And then on Sunday, she is going to be doing the service on Sunday here at 11 o'clock. And then we're going to have this amazing potluck that I know is going to happen. And then she's going to do a 2-hour workshop afterwards that is based on the Byron Katie work, Loving What Is. Loving what is. So I've really stretched to try to get things in place to help support you. So I'm just asking, if you are planning to be a leader in this community, please show up. Please show up. So I've decided that I am not going to lead you anywhere. I'm going to love you. I am going to love you. And I'm going to wait until you tell me you're ready to go somewhere. And then I'll walk beside you. I will support you in this process of releasing the past, but only if you want to. I will strive to raise my consciousness and remind you that this is the work to do on this journey. And you can decide whether it's yours to do or not. And lastly, I will honor the truth that we are the only begotten one, divine, rich beyond measures. And I'll remind you that that is your truth too. And you have the freedom not to accept it. So I love you, my beloved. I see the truth of who you are. And if you would prepare for meditation, as Green Spirit prepares us, and then we'll get into a nice meditation about some forgiveness.